But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
She's not going to be safe with a prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
She was, as woke as they are.
That there's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion, but the reality is she's just not stable.
What happens when rising fame collides with backstage tension, and everything spirals out of control? This isn't your typical celebrity headline or a routine case of a Hollywood starlet acting out. What we're witnessing is something far more dramatic, a complete behind-the-scenes breakdown of a high-profile Broadway production. And at the center of this unraveling, Rachel Zegler, once celebrated as Disney's next big thing, now cast in a very different light. Zegler, who shot to fame with her breakout role in West Side Story and was handpicked to play Disney's new Snow White, has found herself in the middle of a storm that's shaking the theater world. She hasn't been sidelined by bad reviews or internet gossip. She's been effectively pushed aside by the very people who were supposed to be her teammates, her fellow cast members. What started as a highly anticipated stage revival of Evita, a show filled with legacy, emotion, and grandeur, has now morphed into a cautionary tale about what happens when behind-the-scenes tension reaches a boiling point. According to multiple sources close to the production, cast dynamics became so strained that the working environment reportedly turned toxic. And when the tension became impossible to ignore, the production team made a bold move. They benched their leading lady. Tonight, we're diving deep into the real story, the one that's unfolding away from the glitz and glamour. We're pulling back the curtain on the controversy, the conflict, and the consequences that turned a promising revival into a full-blown reckoning. When Rachel Zegler was announced as the lead in the revival of Evita, it felt like her ultimate comeback. After facing waves of public criticism over her casting in Disney's live-action Snow White, many saw this role as her chance to turn the page, to reclaim her narrative and show the world what she could really do. Zegler herself called the opportunity her artistic rebirth, and the media ran with it. Entertainment outlets praised her as a bold new voice for a legendary role. Fans flooded TikTok and Instagram with clips and edits of her singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina," envisioning her as the perfect modern-day Eva Perón. Rachel didn't shy away from the spotlight. She embraced the moment completely, sharing moody, black-and-white rehearsal shots, tweeting emotionally charged lyrics, and fueling the idea that she was destined to wear the sash and step into the shoes of one of musical theater's most iconic characters. The narrative was strong. This was her role, her moment, her transformation. But while everything looked picture-perfect on the outside, cracks were already beginning to form behind the scenes. Because as Rachel played the role of a dramatic heroine online, whispers from inside the rehearsal room painted a different story. Sources say she wasn't just interpreting Eva Perón, she was allegedly reshaping the production itself. And not everyone was thrilled. From script changes to staging adjustments, reports began to circulate that Rachel's influence was growing, and not necessarily in a collaborative way. What was supposed to be a team effort started to feel, to some, like a one-woman show. From the very first rehearsal, murmurs of tension began to ripple through the theater. Those close to the production say that Rachel Zegler's arrival wasn't the grand, graceful entrance many had expected. She reportedly showed up behind schedule more than once, raising eyebrows among cast and crew alike. But the lateness wasn't the only concern. Insiders claim she frequently challenged the choreography, questioning the artistic direction and requesting changes that aligned with her personal interpretation of Eva Perón. Specifically, she allegedly pushed for her character's wardrobe to reflect what she described as a feminist empowerment evolution, requesting significant adjustments to the original designs. Crew members started venting their frustrations in whispers and side comments. One individual reportedly described her as the most demanding performer they'd ever worked with, adding that the energy on set became more strained with each passing day. Then came the rehearsals, where things escalated. Clips began making their rounds online, unofficial behind-the-scenes footage that seemed to capture tense moments between Rachel and the creative team. In one, she appeared to interrupt a director mid-sentence. In another, she was seen exiting the stage abruptly during a pivotal scene. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping moment came from an alleged outburst in which she declared, "I am Eva," with such intensity that even veteran cast members were stunned. The nickname Hurricane Zegler began to circulate, a label that captured both her forceful presence and the chaos some felt she brought into the room. But what happened next wasn't just more behind-the-scenes chatter, it was something far more serious. This time, the cast didn't stay quiet. What followed wasn't rumor, it was resistance. The breaking point came during what should have been one of the production's most powerful numbers, A New Argentina. As the orchestra played and the cast prepared to bring the scene to life, something snapped. Rachel Zegler, reportedly frustrated over a last-minute change in stage movement, abruptly halted her performance mid-song. According to multiple sources present, she shouted, "I'm not doing this circus anymore," before walking off stage in front of a stunned cast and crew. What was supposed to be another ordinary rehearsal instantly turned into a moment of stunned silence. That silence didn't last long. One ensemble member, still in costume, was overheard saying quietly but firmly, "She's got to go." And that simple statement became the spark for something unprecedented. For weeks, frustrations had been bubbling beneath the surface. Now the cast decided to take action. Members of the production began documenting everything, quietly and carefully. They started recording her reported outbursts on their phones, compiling footage that showed patterns of volatile behavior. Crew members logged detailed accounts after each rehearsal, noting when tensions escalated or when team morale suffered. What began as casual frustration soon turned into a coordinated effort. Eventually, they put it all together into a formal complaint, 10 pages long, filled with first-hand testimony, timestamps, and examples of moments that made rehearsals, in their words, unpredictable and emotionally exhausting. The most shocking part? The complaint wasn't signed by a few disgruntled castmates. It had signatures from nearly half the production team. And the language used was damning. One statement read, "Rehearsals no longer feel safe. It's become entirely about managing Rachel's moods rather than building a show." But the real headline came at the end. The cast delivered a direct ultimatum to the producers. It was clear they weren't just venting. They were demanding change. And fast. Picture this scene. A high-stakes, behind-the-scenes meeting held in total secrecy. Representatives from the cast, voices shaking but resolute, sat across from the producers and delivered a message that would shake the entire production to its core. "We're not stepping on that stage if she's still in the lead." It was a bold stand, one that forced the creative team into an impossible position. They had two choices: remove their star performer or risk losing the very ensemble that brought the show to life. And with time ticking and tensions at an all-time high, the pressure exploded. Panic set in behind closed doors. Rehearsals were paused indefinitely. Phone lines lit up with urgent calls. Executives held back-to-back meetings, scrambling for a solution as news of the internal standoff began to circulate within theater circles. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler, the woman at the center of the storm, seemed to vanish without a trace. No social media updates, no statements, no rehearsals. She was simply gone. And while she stayed silent, the production didn't. Without warning, her understudy stepped into the spotlight. Calm, focused, and ready, she delivered a performance that immediately won over everyone in the room. There were no outbursts, no creative demands, just pure talent and professionalism. The contrast couldn't have been more stark, and the message from the cast couldn't have been louder. The show will go on, just not with her. But while the theater tried to move forward, the internet had other plans. Because the real storm? It wasn't happening on stage. It was brewing online, where fans quickly turned into full-blown investigators. TikTok lit up like a wildfire. Within hours, the app was flooded with videos declaring "Rachel's out." And those clips racked up millions of views in record time. Creators broke down every twist in the drama, frame by frame. Some stitched old rehearsal footage with dramatic edits. Others made side-by-side comparisons of her performances and her rumored behavior behind the scenes. Memes exploded across timelines, painting Rachel as a Tumblr-era girl boss gone rogue, with captions like "Evita, more like diva." Then came the internet's favorite sport, digital archaeology. The users unearthed old tweets, one in particular showing her wearing a tiara, proudly captioned, "They'll hate me for this too." That resurfaced quote quickly went viral again, but this time with a brutal twist. The top comment, "We do, congrats." Ouch. Even the official Evita social accounts weren't immune to the wave. Fans began to notice Rachel's photos disappearing. Her promo posts quietly removed. Mentions of her role nowhere to be found. It didn't take long for hashtags to start trending. Hashtag Zegler out, hashtag Evita revival, and even the blunt hashtag justice for the cast. And while the internet buzzed non-stop, Rachel herself went completely dark. No new tweets, no TikToks, no stories, no statements. For someone so vocal just weeks earlier, sharing lyrics, selfies, and behind-the-scenes snaps, the silence was deafening. No explanation, no apology, just nothing. A vanishing act that only fueled more speculation. Here's the part no one wants to admit, especially not in showbiz. Theater has a long memory and a short fuse for drama. Once the decision was made, the fallout came fast. Rachel's name was quietly removed from the official playbills. No fanfare, no footnotes, just gone. Her dressing room completely cleared out within days. Personal items packed, door sign taken down, as if she had never been part of the production at all. The replacement, her understudy, previously an unknown to most audiences, is now the unexpected breakout star. According to multiple insiders, she's been absolutely owning the role, nailing every scene, hitting every note, and winning over crowds with none of the chaos. Backstage, the shift was immediate. One crew member reportedly said, "It's like someone finally opened a window, we can breathe again." Tension that had built up over weeks of unpredictable behavior, missed cues, and diva-level standoffs vanished overnight. Now, people are laughing again during breaks, rehearsals are running on time, and the energy feels lighter. Like a storm passed and left sunshine in its place. But while things are looking up for the show, Rachel's own future feels far less certain. Her highly anticipated Snow White project delayed indefinitely. The buzz around her Hunger Games spin-off completely fizzled out. And with the theater world backing away and the film world going quiet, she's facing the unthinkable for any rising star: a stalled career. As of now, her Instagram remains untouched. No updates, no comments, no signs of what's next. To many, it's the ultimate fall from grace. Because here's the lesson people are walking away with. Talent might open doors, but ego can slam them shut. So here's the real question that everyone's been dancing around. Was Rachel Zegler actually canceled? Or did she, in a way, cancel herself? Let's cut through the noise. This wasn't about random internet backlash or some group of online critics trying to take her down. This wasn't the result of keyboard warriors or tabloid headlines. What happened here came from the inside. From the people who shared the stage with her. Who showed up every day. Who watched the show they loved slowly unravel under the weight of one person's behavior. This wasn't a takedown, it was a stand-up. The cast and crew drew a line in the sand and said, "No more." They refused to keep sinking under the pressure of one performer's whirlwind. It wasn't about jealousy or drama for drama's sake. It was about protecting the work, the art, the integrity of the show itself. And here's the irony that's impossible to ignore. Evita is now doing better than ever. Without her in the lead, the production has found its rhythm again. Audiences are showing up, reviews are rolling in, and insiders say the energy feels renewed, like a revival finally living up to its name. So no, this saga isn't over. Not even close. 'Cause in the world of theater, every dramatic exit is just a setup for the next act. Whether it's a comeback, a reinvention, or a quiet fade into the wings, that story hasn't been written yet. But one thing's certain, all eyes are still on Rachel Zegler. And when the curtain rises on her next move, you can bet the world will be watching. Smash subscribe if you want the unfiltered truth Hollywood won't tell you. It's just the overture. Stay tuned, the final act's gonna be wild.